Hello, my name's Andrew, and today we're doing a first impression review of the KOW Slippers, but the high version. So essentially, I've been wearing the lower KOWs for the past few years. They're my favorite barefoot slippers just because they're so flexible, and they've got a nice leather sole, and also a blend of wool and bamboo, so they're very breathable, good for most different climates. They also have one for summer. If you're living in a hotter climate, you need something that's a little bit more breathable, which I really like as well. It's basically the same thing, just half the weight. And then they've also got the high version, which they just sent to me for testing. It's a little bit too warm for them right now. It's summer, it's been like 80, 90 degrees, but in the morning it's gotten down to like 50, so I have been able to test them. My first impression was that they look kind of like an old style mitten, which I love. They've got a nice wide toe box. It does get a little bit more rounded towards the tip because that's kind of how they're made. They're knit and they come to a point here. So I would say on sizing with these, they probably run true to size. I wear a 10.5 and the large works well for me. My toes come up to about here. But if you're someone who's like on the upper end, they give you a size guide. And if you're on the upper end of that size guide for whatever size you're looking at, you might want to go up a size just to give yourself a little bit more room. Or if you have wider, more square shaped feet, you might want a little bit more room here. And because they're so light, it's not really a problem like with shoes where they're less flexible and you're more likely to trip on things. So if you have a little bit of extra room here, it doesn't really matter. In terms of how they feel, they're really easy to slip on. You don't need to take the button off here. You can just slide them straight on. I kind of like scrunched up the back, which makes them really easy to slip on like that. And it is kind of like a heavyweight feel, but because it's a blend of 65% wool, it's really breathable and it also opens up, especially as you're moving. In terms of the sole, it's really soft and flexible, but it is leather, so it's got some toughness. I mean, you could walk outside to get the mail if you're not going across gravel or anything too sharp that's gonna destroy the sole. But mostly they're an indoor type shoe. Like if you tend to wake up earlier than other people in your house, you need to pad around softly in the morning, these slippers are really good for that. And then one other thing I like is that they put the tag on a different side for each slipper. So if you're looking down, you can tell which one is which. Like this tag is on the right side and then on the left slipper, it's on the other side. So that makes it really easy. Because of the natural fabric and the loose weave, they feel really good to wear barefoot, but a lot of times I'll put a thin pair of Injinji merino wool toe socks in there because my toes are kind of scrunched together from playing soccer and wearing like Adidas Sambas and cleats and stuff like that as a kid. So if I don't have something in between my toes, they'll kind of get sweaty in between here. So just adding a light layer of socks really helps wick moisture between my toes. And it also keeps the slippers clean because you can machine wash them, which is totally fine. I definitely wouldn't stick them in the dryer, but the less you put them in machines in general, the less you wash them, the longer they're gonna wear. But in terms of durability, I've had these for a few years, the originals, and they still look really good. There's a few fuzzies around, but in general, the sole and the stitching has held together really well. So I've liked them. They're my favorite barefoot slippers, like I've said, and I'm really looking forward to getting to try them in the winter because they seem super cozy, especially with the higher cut. Sometimes with the lower, it was like my ankles would get a little bit cold, you know, where there's that gap between your pant legs and the lower slipper. But like I said, if you want something you can use for all seasons, you could go with the lower cut that has the little bit thicker fabric versus the summer, and then just put like a higher sock with it or a thicker sock to get you through some really cold weather. But if you're living somewhere where it's just cold all the time, then probably the higher cut makes sense. Also, one last note is that KOW gives you this nice travel bag, and you can put these in like if you're flying somewhere and you want to prevent the slippers from getting torn up or catching on something. It's a really nice, tough weight bag, and so a lot of times we'll even use it for my camera because the fabric is quite durable. All right, so that's my first impression review of the KOW Slippers high version, but I'll let you guys know how it goes in the long-term review in terms of durability and warmth for the winter. But if you'd like to support the channel in the meantime, you can shop with the referral links down below, browse and filter more products at my website barefootwear.org, or watch my zero drop transition video to learn more about going minimal. Finally, if you have a question about KOW slippers or about barefoot shoes in general, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, catch you next time, peace!